not forget.
Ted.
He muted.
Yes.
Oh.
Oh, there he is.
Did you happen to catch the replay of last week's show?
I have not. No, I've been busy. I had a book to publish
No worries.
and studio issues to deal with.
I was going to tell you my Super Bowl pick is the Chiefs and Seahawks for
Chiefs.
last week's show.
Okay.
Bed just kicked over. I would normally say last week. It's still first and 10. Who cares? Welcome to the Shooters Gallery on the Beyond Ringside Radio Network, ProWrestlingRadio.net, the Beyond Ringside Sports Radio channel over on TuneIn and the TuneIn mobile app, live from Birmingham, Alabama. Yes, I know what I said. You know me by now. I say it. I mean it. I am the Magic City Motor Mouth, Fast Eddie Lane of the Beyond Ringside Studios, welcoming in tag team partner from the Peach State, Shane Knowles.
It is not my favorite day of the year, but it is always my favorite Thursday of the year.
Welcoming in tag team partner on his simulcast as well, Zederdreas.
Two-time published author, baby.
So the Fireminder saga continues, correct?
Yeah, neither of you finished my first book, and I'm rather disappointed in both of you.
I haven't even finished Cat in the Hat yet.
Well, you know, I got nothing. Give me 5 minutes. I've had a few head injuries. I should make. Oh, you know what? I should. Okay, so I've got. I'm just gonna jump out there and be the shameless whore that I am. I've got a whole bunch of branded Zerdreas gaming merch.
Saw the hat.
Yeah, actually, I'm wearing the hat on stream right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's a sexy hat. You can get yours for $25.
He's bringing a hat.
Oh, hell yeah. But I also have a Teespring store where I have Zerdreas branded stuff. The coolest thing that I just got today, I don't have it with me. I'll have it Saturday morning, is it's a coffee mug with my logo on it, but it's green. So when I'm drinking my coffee on stream, all you see is the purple background surrounded by my logo. It's freaking amazing. But I got T-shirts. I got all. So I might actually make a T-shirt that just simply says, "I've had a few head injuries."
That's a good one.
Yeah, why not?
Let's see. First off, to everybody tuning in live, hi there. How the hell are you? Glad to have you on board. To everybody catching us on replay, I have echoes in my head today. That's all I'm going to say. It's been one of those. It's been a decent little week. It's been fun. Normally we would go ahead and go for the opening rounds. However, because someone wasn't here last Thursday night.
Oh, here we go.
Pins and needles. I've been waiting for this.
So, Edric, tell you what, I'm gonna go ahead and flip in your direction right off the bat, and we would like to get your official predictions as far as the divisions,
Okay.
the conference championship games, and the Super Bowl picks.
Okay, so I know you told me what it was off stream. Go ahead and remind the listeners what your guys' pick were. And since You guys went 3 hours last week, and I could probably go 3 hours on my own. I'll give you the quick one-line Reader's Digest as to why.
No, actually, we went 1 hour on the NFL last week.
Oh, okay.
Before we went over 2.
For myself, in the AFC title game, I took the Chiefs to defeat the Indianapolis Colts. In the NFC title game, I took the Seattle Seahawks to defeat the San Francisco 49ers. With the Chiefs defeating the Seahawks, I have a back-to-back Super Bowl champion.
I don't remember who the hell I picked in the NFC.
I will tell you, Eddie had the Saints over the Rams.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Okay.
And you got your AFC.
See, I had the Tennessee Titans and the Kansas City Chiefs. And with the addition of Jadeveon Clowney on defense, I'm liking that pick so much more, especially considering the way that he was just up one side and down the other about playing for Vrabel. So that's an indicator to me. Sir Andreas and I were talking off air before we went live, and I was making the comment that a lot of DCs have a tendency to use him as an outsider. And I've watched some of the stuff that he did in early and in college, and he does some of his better work when he lines up to the inside for the blitz and the pass rush. So I think Vrabel understands that and knows the tendencies. But he's actually going to be used in a very good complement of different. I mean, you can either run him in a dime package or even set him up for nickel quite easily. So I'm looking forward to seeing how Clowney works out.
Yeah, and my thought process on that, we talked about this off air too, is that as a defensive coordinator, you have a guy who can both play on the edge and inside at tackle. Right. That opens up so many creative possibilities to where you can confuse the opposing quarterback just by switching him over a slot, giving a different defensive look, especially if you have a defensive coordinator who likes to run a lot of zone blitzes. You can either run Clowney at the tackle, dropping back into coverage, or you could put him at the edge to affect the blitz. There are so many opportunities with him. So
very much so.
And I'm very happy that he ended up in a place that he really wanted to be.
Well, sir, I am dying, as our listeners are, to hear your division predictions, starting with the AFC.
Well, I was going to start with the NFC because I'm an AFC guy. I always like to save the best for last. So we'll start with the NFC East. I don't think that there's any question in anyone's mind right now that the Dallas Cowboys are the favorite to jump out to an early lead and then choke later on as the season progresses. However, this is not Jason Garrett running the team anymore. So if Zeke, Dak, and co on offense can get their heads together collectively and figure it out, and their defense can actually stop a pass, stop a run in critical situations, when the games actually mean something, they may be a unheralded favorite to win the NFC East. I'm going to go with the Philadelphia Eagles to win the East. In the NFC North,
okay.
I like, I just don't trust the Minnesota Vikings. They were, I think, the popular pick for a lot of people going into this. I actually like the Chicago Bears. The fact that Mitchell Trubisky is no longer going to be their starting quarterback automatically makes them a better team.
Wait a minute. I heard something different early this week.
Did they change that?
He was named the starter.
Oh, okay. We'll throw that out. We'll go with the Vikings.
But I'm with you. I think Nick Foles by week 5.
I think by week 3. Especially if they start allowing fans in Soldier Field. They're gonna figure out New York threw snowball or Philadelphia threw snowballs at Santa. Chicago, they'll figure out a way to throw COVID at Mitchell Trubisky. They will figure out a way. I say by week 3. If they make the switch, I'm going to stick with the Bears. If they stay with Trubisky longer than week 3, I think you have to go with the Vikings in this one. NFC South, I think the Saints run away with it. Brady, Gronkowski, Fournette, it's all window dressing. Mike Evans will actually have a quarterback that can throw him the football. Good for him. I just don't see the cohesion. I don't see the chemistry. I think the Saints beat the Bucs in both games, both matchups this year. and win that division. And then in the NFC West, I guess I got to go with the 49ers. I mean, it's between the 49ers and the Seahawks. Russell Wilson is really consistent, but the pieces around him are falling apart.
Yep.
And I don't know how much more control Pete Carroll has on this team. I think he's starting to lose a little control over that team. So I'll give the 49ers the edge there. Jump over to the AFC. AFC East is probably the biggest question mark in football right now. I think Buffalo is your front runner, followed by Miami, then New England, then the Jets. I think Buffalo's going to basically, the way they lay out the standings at the beginning of the season when every team has no record, that's how it's going to finish this year.
Yeah.
AFC North, I'm going to go with the Ravens.
Nicely done.
Until Cincinnati, Cleveland, Pittsburgh show me that they can figure out a way to stop Lamar Jackson, the Ravens, without a doubt. The problem that I'm going to have with people that want to jump back on the Browns bandwagon is this is Baker Mayfield's make or break year. If Mayfield starts playing like Manziel, the Browns are done. And they don't really have a viable option at backup to run that program, especially since it's another new head coach and another new system coming in. How bad are they going to screw this kid up? Are we going to be seeing Baker Mayfield doing State Farm commercials from a strip joint in Las Vegas in a couple of years? We'll find out at the end of this year. Stay tuned. AFC South, Tennessee Titans. I thought they were a lock even before they picked up Clowney on the defensive side. You know, Shane, you said Indianapolis making the AFC Championship. I think you're giving way too much credit to Phillip Rivers. The Indianapolis offense is not what the offense was for the, I was going to say San Diego Chargers, but the LA Chargers now. Especially, he does not have backs like the quality of Melvin Gordon and Adam Eckler or Austin Eckler. I think they'll be a little bit over 500, but I think it's going to be a pedestrian one and done for Rivers. In the AFC West, there's no question the Kansas City Chiefs are going to walk away with that division. The real question in that division is who's going to finish second. And right now, I don't think the Broncos and I don't think that the Chargers pose a threat to the Raiders. I think it's going to be a very close division. I'm going to say Kansas City goes 13-3. The Raiders go 11-5. So those are my division winners. If I had to pick wild cards, I would say in the AFC, you're probably looking at some of the usual suspects here in the Steelers and a surprise pick, the Miami Dolphins. And then in the NFC, I would say that your wild card teams are both going to come out of the NFC South. I think the Falcons and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers walk away with the wild cards. As far as conference championship matchups, I think it's going to be Kansas City and Tennessee in the AFC. I think it's probably going to be San Francisco and New Orleans in the NFC Championship game. And I am going with the Tennessee Titans to beat the New Orleans Saints this year in the Super Bowl.
Wow.
Titans over Saints.
I have Titans over Saints. And I've got Spartan in my chat room. Thank you for the follow, Spartan. He says anyone but the Detroit Lions, and I would definitely agree with that.
Okay.
How Matt Patricia still has a job.
I've asked this question for the last couple of weeks. I'm going to ask this one now of you.
Okay.
Is this the year that we find out whether or not Matthew Stafford is completely and totally overpaid? No.
Okay. So I don't blame Matthew Stafford at all. I think he's in a very bad situation. Throughout his career, it's been a carousel of coaches. And I think that a change of pace into a system where a coach has been there for a couple of seasons, has his own systems in place, would do him a world of wonders. I could see Dak Prescott going to another team next year and opening up a spot for Matthew Stafford to step in and be the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. And given the tools that the Dallas Cowboys have, I could see Matthew Stafford leading that team not only to the playoffs, but to a playoff victory, something that Dak Prescott has not been able to do.
Okay. Can I pose the question to him that Eddie also asked of Grubby and myself last week?
Yeah, go for it.
Are the Tampa Bay Buccaneers the class of the NFC already?
No. And I talked to Eddie about this a little bit off air. I don't see the Tampa Bay Buccaneers being the second coming of the New England Patriots. The problem is, yes, they have some of the same pieces there, and especially with the addition of Leonard Fournette, everyone's like, ooh, they have more depth. Fournette had a couple of good years with Jacksonville, and then he fell off. You can go on Twitter and complain about your Madden rating all the time, but when you go out the next season and prove that you're less than your Madden rating after you went on a rant, it's not a good optics for you, Fournette. So I think that with Brady, Gronkowski, Fournette, Mike Evans, you have a solid receiving core. I just think that there's not going to be the cohesion. Obviously, they don't have Bill Belichick doing his Bill Belichick stuff and pissing his players off with his passive-aggressive nonsense. But I just don't see, outside of Gronk and Brady, I don't see that chemistry being there. And it's been 2 years since Gronk has caught a pass from Tom Brady. So is that chemistry even still there anymore? They may be buds off the field. They may be, playing best ball on the golf course. But I don't know if that timing's there. I don't know if the hype is going to deliver. I don't see I hear a lot of sizzle. I just don't see the steak being thick enough.
I have a question for both of you, and I'll go last on this to follow up, Eddie. Who has the better record this season? Brady and the Buccaneers, Belichick and the Patriots, or do they have the same record?
Zerdreas?
I'm gonna go Brady and the Bucks. I've got the Patriots finishing at 7-9. I've got the Bucks finishing around 9-7.
Eddie?
I'd have to look at the entire schedule before I could actually answer that question, honestly. I know that as it pertains to the NFC South, because remember, you've got 3 home and homes to work with, so that's 6 games right there. So logistically speaking, I've actually got them coming out of that possibly 3-3. I don't know how they're going to take situations against the Panthers yet. I think they may just split with the Falcons, and if they're lucky, they'll split with the Saints. I don't think if there's anybody who's not worried about trying to find a way to win in Mercedes-Benz Stadium, it's Tom Brady. Because he's played in almost he's played in every stadium there is here. So I think I may miss one. I'm not sure.
He hasn't played in the Allegiant Stadium yet, or SoFi.
Okay. Good point. And
I have one of those every once in a while.
He's actually in the wrong conference to play at the new Vegas Stadium. Damn.
Actually, wait a minute. No. Hold on a moment. If I'm not mistaken, the Patriots are on the Raiders' schedule at home.
Brady plays in the NFC South.
Or not the. Oh shoot! Hold on. That's right. See, I hate Tom Brady so much I keep forgetting he's now a Buccaneer. Of course, does anybody really pay attention to the Buccaneers if Tom Brady's not there?
I was actually having fun with it when Crab Boy was there.
When who?
Crab Boy, Jameis Winston.
October 25th, Tampa Bay at Las Vegas.
Oh, really? I haven't seen that on the schedule. Okay,
yes,
cool.
That is the Sunday night game.
Oh, nice.
Week 7. Hell yeah.
Brady versus Carr.
Yeah, Ted. My Dolphins travel the penultimate week of the season to play in Vegas around Christmas.
Yes, December 27th. Time to be determined at this point.
I wonder how much tickets are for that game. I would actually travel to see that one.
Starting as low as $230 according to StubHub.
And for the record, see, I make the reference to traveling. I have no problem getting a rental car and driving. It would have been nice if AEW would have gotten back in touch with me about the how available tickets still were without having to deal with a pod purchase through freaking Ticketmaster, because it was going to be me going down there by myself. I sent them a quick message going, hey, look, if I just want one ticket, what's the possibility? They never got back.
Well, here's the thing, Eddie. Here's the thing. Nice thing
know,
about Vegas, you don't need to rent a car. The Allegiant Stadium is right off the strip, pretty much right next to McCarran Airport. So you get off the airport, you drop $1 in the slot machine, you maybe win $10, you pop on the shuttle, you get to your hotel on strip, you hop on the shuttle, boom, you're at Allegiant Stadium. You don't have to drive.
I'd just get a scooter.
I mean, you could do that. You would look like a 50-something millennial wannabe hipster, but you could do that.
It depends on the scooter that you purchase,
and
or
the
that
vest
you rent.
you're wearing that day, by the way.
Say what?
And the vest that you're wearing that day.
Leave my vest out of it.
I just want to state that I had the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going 10-6. I have the New England Patriots at 8-8. So I'm actually going to go with Brady over Belichick, because that is what it's going to look like in the annals of history as we come out of this 20-year relationship.
So it looks like we're pretty much on the same page. You just gave each team an extra win.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Wow, I can't believe how even we are. I can't believe
one more
that
fun
everybody.
one,
Yeah, go for it.
I'm sorry, I took the worst team in football to be the New York Jets. Yourself?
Ooh. I think it might be a toss-up between the Jets and the Chargers.
Ooh.
There's definitely going to be a fight. The Chargers are not going to be good this year. And for a team that struggled to fill a 30,000 seat soccer stadium, and the only time they did sell that out was when the Raiders were playing, and it was 70-30 Raiders fans, this team's going to be in trouble. I don't see them staying in the Los Angeles market very long. I could see them moving somewhere else.
I have one more question about football, I promise, Eddie, and I'm done, but I want to do it with all three of us. Surprise team. We've made our conference title picks. We've made our Super Bowl picks. Give me a team, though, under the radar that it would not surprise you if everything fell right. And you're like, whoa, this team is at least in a conference title game.
I'd say Cleveland.
I'd say Cincinnati.
Ooh.
That's
a good call, too.
I will go with...
I'm going to give you a point for that.
I'm going to go with the... Well, I've already said the Colts. That would be a surprise, but I picked it. I'm going to go with the Arizona Cardinals.
Good call.
If everything falls right.
That's
I like Isaiah
not a bad
Simmons out of Clemson, the linebacker. I love DeAndre Hopkins, arguably the best receiver in football. A full season of King and Drake, Kyler Murray under Cliff Kingsbury, one more season out of Larry Fitzgerald, and Patrick Peterson and Budda Baker is a heck of a secondary.
So let me ask you this, Shane. You mentioned Cliff Kingsbury, and I have to ask you, how much of an impact is this rookie head coach going to have with practically no head coaching experience at the NFL level? Flop or pleasant surprise?
Well, he did have last year with the Cardinals, leaving Texas Tech. It's definitely some growing pains, but I saw a lot out of Kyler Murray in the final 6 weeks. I know the natural comparisons are there to Russell Wilson, an undersized scrambler with a big arm. But that DeAndre Hopkins trade, don't sleep on that. I mean, arguably the last 5 years, he and Julio Jones, I would say pound for pound best receiver in football, with Fitzgerald, with Christian Kirk, with a good secondary, and now another linebacker to go with Hassan Reddick with Isaiah Simmons. The only problem, that division, the Rams, the 49ers, and the Seahawks are not going to make it easy. But I'm interested to see year two. Kingsbury got his feet up under him a little bit last year. A lot of people were giving him the business about, you're a college coach. You never really won anything big at Texas Tech. But there's no denying his offensive mind, but can he get the full team together remains to be the question.
Quarterback that has the most potential to shock everybody this year, Shane?
Derek Carr. I know Ted's ears are going to light up on that one, and I'll tell you why. It's make or break a year under John Gruden for Derek Carr. Last year he had his best statistical completion percentage, yards per attempt, whatnot. The team still, for whatever reason, didn't do very well. Now they've added Brian Edwards. They've added Henry Ruggs. And before Josh Jacobs, they found a gold mine at tight end with Darren Waller. I think Derek Carr could shock. I mean, we're not talking – I don't think anyone's going to reach Pat Mahomes level. I don't think anyone's going to reach Lamar Jackson level. Those two play very differently and are both, video game crazy numbers. But I think Derek Carr, if the weapons stay healthy around him, I think he has a chance to finally show. Because remember, Ryan Tannehill also had that, where people said, yeah, he's been okay, he's been good, he's been. The situation in Tennessee, when it changed, Tannehill had the best deep ball in football last year. Throughout the playoffs, in the final 6 weeks of the regular season, we saw it. Now, granted, you ride Derrick Henry, but it was time to produce. He did it. I think with the weapons now, Derek Carr has the chance to maybe reach that next step in his career.
Zerdress?
And Shane, if you had the stream on, you would have seen me nodding my head vigorously with everything that you said. I fully agree. I think it is going to be Derek Carr. The knock on him, as far as Raider Nation is concerned, is that he's soft. He may be able to put up these great numbers, but as a Raiders fan, when you think Derek Carr, you don't think, the great touch passes that he had to Amari Cooper or to Michael Crabtree or to Waller last year or to the tight end they had before they had Waller, and I can't remember his name. I think he went to the Saints and had a decent year last year.
Jared Cook.
Yeah, Jared Cook. If you look at Derek Carr's game, he's an over-the-middle slant pattern type of quarterback. He has difficulties going to the outside, especially if you're running an out route. If you run an in route or a slant or a post pattern, Carr will hit you because you're going to the center of the field. But going away toward the sidelines, he's inconsistent. The other thing, too, is decision-making. Twice in his career, in the last 2 years, he has tried to scramble, and instead of going out of bounds toward the goal line to get the first down or to get a closer play to snap off to go for a touchdown, he has recklessly held the ball out and fumbled the football through the end zone to give the other team a touchback at the 20-yard line, thus killing game momentum. And these were drives that they needed either to get into the game or solidify the win, and they turned around and lost these games. I think
and
a lot
Eddie, it's your questions. So your quarterback to bust out, who is it and why is it Matthew Stafford?
No. And they all said, wrong answer. And if I had that in front of me, believe me, I would have played it. Trust me, I would have played it. Logistically speaking, I know that he had a relatively good year last year with not that many weapons. But I'm just simply going to sit back and say that I think the person that has the potential to have a breakout year this year laid the groundwork last year. Fear the porn stash. I'm going Gardner Minshew.
Ooh. You just got 2 points for that one.
I think that, look, Gardner did not have a bad rookie season down in Jayville.
No, he did not. No, he did not.
And look, I was a fan of the guy at Washington State. Go Cougs. And for the record, I'm glad. One quick sidebar. I went back and watched my DVR recording of ESPN's College Game Day from this past Saturday. I am very glad that they allowed somebody to come in with the Wazoo flag. So the streak is still alive. I pop for that. It's the little things in life that just get me to stand up and clap. And when I saw it, bottom right corner, the Coug flag there, it's like, okay, the streak is still alive. I'm happy. We're good. Turn off the TV.
I want to mention, Eddie. I want to mention Gardner Minshew had my favorite quote of this offseason. Everyone is talking about Kirk Cousins saying about COVID, if I die, I die. I'm going to play. But it wasn't as well publicized. Gardner Minshew, they thought he had COVID. Come to find out the test was negative. He said, yeah, coronavirus took one look at Minshew Mania and ran the other way, Daddy. I mean, it sounded like a wrestling promo.
Dusty Rhodes, must have left that for him in his will, because that is a Dusty promo if I've ever heard one. I want to throw out this, since you guys have thrown out your bests or your busts or whatever. I'm going to give you two names. Which player gets kicked out, banned for the 2020 season first? Richie Incognito or Ndamukong Suh?
Is Burfict not playing this year?
No, Vontae Burfict
is
not. Is he?
Oh,
No, he's not.
he was suspended for the duration of last year.
Yeah, I don't think that anyone picked him up though. Let me see. I'm trying to pull it up.
I'm looking.
Yeah.
He is a free agent. You are correct.
Yeah. No. So yeah. He's since he's not on a team, it's either Sue or Incognito. Which one gets banned first?
Shane?
Give me Incognito.
In how many
the history
games?
with that guy?
How
Give
many
me-
games does it take for him to get banned?
4.
Week 5.
Week 5. Okay.
None of us went over 6.
Nope. he don't make it to the half.
Hey, what's up,
Sue will
Phoenix?
probably make it to at least week 8. Because all of the eyes are going to be on the offense. Because he's still coming out to Bay. And so therefore everybody's going to be watching the offense, and he's going to try to slide a couple of dirty nut shots in there.
Oh, of course.
To play along those lines, Antonio Brown is serving an 8-game suspension from Roger Goodell under the domestic violence policy of the NFL.
He won't
We know
play
teams
again.
get in the tight by winning or losing or by injuries or inefficient play. Does anyone sign Antonio Brown this season?
Nope.
I doubt it.
Nope.
Not unless there's a serious counseling session going on.
He's
By the
too
way,
much
you
of a
didn't mention your pick on who gets suspended first.
I say I'm actually going to go with Incognito. He gets suspended after Week 7 when the Buccaneers visit a Allegiant Stadium because, there's a little bit of history between Incognito and Tom Brady. So that's where I'm going to go with that.
I have a different type of final question from me.
Okay.
It's a simple yes or no. Does Pat Mahomes or Lamar Jackson win the MVP or someone else? They are the last two to have won this award.
Is it your ass?
I think I am going to go with the third option. I think there's going to be I think there's going to be somebody.
Field.
Yeah, I'll go with the field. I think there's going to be somebody, definitely a skill position player. Possibly, I'm going to throw Josh Jacobs as a dark horse for that award, just considering the production that he had with a broken frickin' shoulder last season before he shut it down. If he could stay healthy for the full season, we may be seeing a 2,000-yard rusher, 20 touchdowns, 25 touchdowns on the ground. It could happen. He can be that dynamic and that explosive. Could be a dark horse, but I'm going to go with the field.
I'll go with the field also. I'm going to sit back and say Derrick Henry could have that year. If he continues what he did last year,
Yeah.
and goes even 1/10 of a step up, if that O-line gives him the openings and he can break through and hit the second level,
Yeah.
we're off to the races. So roll Tide, give me Derrick Henry.
Okay.
To
Shane?
prove to the people who listen to this show that over the course of 5 years, you know my disdain for the New England Patriots and the Dallas Cowboys. If everything falls right with Ezekiel Elliott, Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, and the recently first-round drafted, not totally needed at all, but could help CeeDee Lamb, Dak Prescott could be in the running for the most valuable player this year.
Prescott has the tools, and you have to remember there's 10 independent variables on offense, 11 on defense, and let's go ahead and add the independent variables involved of the coaching staff, the OC for Dallas and the DC for whoever they're playing. It doesn't matter. You can have Brady in his prime, Montana, Bart Starr, Joe Namath, Archie Manning. It doesn't matter. But if you don't have the right play caller who understands the strengths of the O-line, the skill players, the position players, as well as your quarterback, then you're in trouble. If you have a defensive coordinator who is a better DC than your quarterback's OC, you got trouble.
Mm-hmm.
This is the problem that I have with always looking to a quarterback for being MVP. It's kind of like with the Heisman Trophy. There have been better players than the so-called quarterbacks that have won the Heisman over the last few years. I mean, I'm an opinionated person for saying that, I know, but you go back and you look at different teams and the stat lines, win-loss record doesn't always give you the heart, the soul, and the talent of the supporting cast or the cast on the field. I still have no problem with the philosophy that a defensive player should be a Heisman Trophy candidate.
Right, but we're not talking about Heisman Trophy. We're talking about NFL candidates.
I was about to say MVP. Look, if J.J. Watt finally has that year that everybody has been waiting on him to have, what's to stop anybody from sitting back and going, look? If he manages to pop 9-10 sacks, what's keeping him out of the conversation? If his hurries and his rushes and the penetration that he gets, constantly being involved in pressuring a quarterback or breaking up a play, what's to stop him from being in that MVP conversation?
Simple. It's two completely different skill sets, and this is where I'll address my concerns with Dak Prescott here in a second as a dark horse pick. But I'm firmly of the belief that there should be a offensive MVP and a defensive MVP. There should be two separate awards to recognize that, because it is two separate skill sets. With the offense, you're trying to advance the ball. With the defense, you're trying to stop that. And as an individual player on a defensive squad, to be able to have those hurries, have those individual tackles, have those blocked passes, fumbles forced, quarterback sacks, that needs to be recognized in his own category. And one of my chatters, Phoenix, in the chat room, makes the point, you have the Cy Young and the MVP in baseball, which are definitely two separate things. The weird thing about that, though, is that the MVP can also win the Cy Young in baseball. So that's a little bit different. And and he also makes the point that they have the Offensive Player of the Year and the Defensive Player of the Year. Then you either call it one thing or you call it the other. You can't have an Offensive Player of the Year and an MVP. You can't have a Defensive Player of the Year and an MVP, because it's two separate units, two separate skill sets. And I think the reason we don't have a defensive MVP or we just use a Defensive Player of the Year tag is because we don't have a bona fide benchmark for what qualifies a defensive player for an MVP. And it's not like baseball where you could say, well, the shortstop only had 3 errors for the entire season, but this second, but hey, they separated out in Gold Gloves. So you almost, when you get into the Defensive Player of the Year award, you actually have to break that down into tiers. You have to break that down in defensive linemen, defensive secondary with your linebacking core, your corner, and your secondary would be your cornerbacks and your safety. So you would really have to split the Defensive Player Award and the Offensive Player of the Year Award into 3 separate categories. And just out of those skill sets, those give you your candidates for your MVP. So I almost think that you have to be one of the players of the year. And the nice thing is, with the Defensive Player of the Year, you could have 5 defensive linemen of the year, 3 to 4 defensive linebackers if you want to include a dime package. Secondary, you're going to have 3 to 4. So there are plenty of different candidates and plenty of different options, and I think the MVP would be better suited coming off of one of those candidates who have already won the individual award for their position. Now, which one of those players on each side of the ball deserves to be called the MVP of the defense and the offense?
Well, see, let me also give you this one as well, real quick, gentlemen. You heard me bring his name up a minute ago as far as the breakout, the person who could steal it all over again. And I will
Raya
ask the
with the
question.
raid. Appreciate you,
Who
brother.
was the starting quarterback for the
Raid
first half of the season for the
three.
Tennessee
Thank you very
Titans?
much, sir.
Marcus Mariota,
Who was the second half?
Ryan Tannehill.
Notice a little bit of a pause and hesitation. Now, who was the feature back for the Tennessee Titans?
Derrick Henry.
You put that pause in there just to spite me. I know you.
I'm answering as quick as I can.
Okay, yeah, I know. You didn't have to look any of that.
You have to take into account how many drinks has Shane had tonight before the show.
He's on decaf.
Oh.
Coke Zero, baby. Thursday night. It ain't Sunday yet.
I forgot.
I knew that top, Eddie.
You're on that wrestler's diet. Coke Zero and vodka.
Well, I will say there is a nice 12-pack of Land Shark, yes, the official beer of the Miami Dolphins, waiting for Sunday afternoon at 1 p.m. as we take on the New England Patriots.
Fans to the right.
And you know what sucks? That's going to be the national game, so the only way that I'm going to be able to watch the Raiders game is if I drag my happy ass out of my house at 10:45 in the morning to go to Buffalo Wild Wings around the corner, and there's no way that is happening at 10:45.
Because they don't open until 11.
Well, I mean, ours opens at 10:30 for Raiders
Oh,
games in the
okay,
morning.
cool.
It opens a half hour because they know Raiders fans are rowdy bunches, so they better let them in and start dropping those wings. Otherwise, there's going to be hell to pay before the first beer is even poured.
Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings, beer, sports.
We've got Phoenix in the chat room saying Pats will win. So I was going to save this part to the end of the show. But since we are rocking and rolling on football to start, I am going to be keeping track of our picks. It is going to be 5 picks a week, 3 games during the during regular Sunday afternoon, the Sunday night game, and the Monday night game. Each correct answer is going to be worth 2 points that will be added to the beginning of the next show, and at the end of the year, gentlemen. At the end of the year, bragging rights will be up for grabs, and I'm sure beers or something else may also be up for grabs. So with that in mind, I'm going to throw out go ahead, Shane.
Good. I was going to say, let's speed round them.
Absolutely. I'm pulling up my Excel spreadsheet right now so I can keep track of the games that I'm picking.
I would actually sit back and say we could make it a wing bet, but...
Hey, I've already paid the price on that one before.
There was a second one.
Hey, COVID. No, just kidding.
I don't know whether to give Shane points or take points away.
Why don't you give them to me, because I may lose them for my pick.
All right. I'll throw you a bone. I'll throw you one here. Okay, so pick.
And by the way, for the record, as it stands, I do believe I have the Chiefs leading the Texans right now, 24-7.
Yep, that is confirmed.
Correct.
And they're in third quarter right now. Also,
They are.
Go ahead.
I'm going to say, really liking that Kansas City -9.5 for amusement only right now.
Yeah, really. By the same token, the Miami Hurricanes are leading my UAB Blazers 17-7 in the third quarter. Blazers have the ball at 2nd and 7, and we're on the Miami, so we're inside Miami territory. So this one's a hard one for me because of the fact that I have for years, and for those who know me and have listened over the years, I'm a huge Canes fan. Now, I live in Birmingham, Alabama. The UAB Blazers are my team. I went there. We've met. Bill Clark, excellent gentleman. I go back with the Canes, however, to a similar time, all the way back to Howard Schnellenberger. So, lo and behold, I've asked myself this question a couple of times. What if Schnellenberger had not left the U to go coach in the USFL and had stayed with the Hurricanes? Would he have picked up as many, if not more, national championships as they did between him and Jimmy Johnson, the following coach? I have to sit back and say, I think that Schnellenberger would have picked up at least another 2 national titles at the University of Miami. And Johnson, there's your what if for the week. Put this one in play and think about it for a hot second. And Zerdreas, I know you've got a bug in 15. We'll have a top of the hour break set right at 8:30 East Mountain.
Oh no, I've got 45 more minutes. I'm just jumping this up a half an hour because since we're rocking and rolling on football, I figure we might as well just round it all out here. And I've got chats making predictions too. I got people in chat making predictions.
Are we doing like traditional all the games, or
no,
we're picking like a 5 or 6?
Okay, so here's how I've got it set. We're doing 5 games. We're doing 3 random games on Sunday afternoon. We're doing the Sunday night and the Monday night game. Now this Monday there are 2, so I've picked the best one. How we're going to do it is we're doing it straight up. No Vegas point spread. It's just who's going to win. Each correct answer is worth 2 points for the beginning of the next show, and at the end of the season, bragging rights. And I'm sure you know what? I'll throw out, if you guys beat me, I will send you my Zerdreas gaming hat, $25 value. I'll put that on the line for each of you.
Nice.
Could I ask this, and you guys can shoot it down if you don't like it, but also what might make it fun week to week? Whoever wins the particular week, picks the next 5 games for the next week.
I like that.
3 if we still continued Sunday, Monday, but the 3 on traditional Sunday would go to the choice of the previous week's winner.
I like that, and I'm documenting it all here on an Excel spreadsheet, which I can make available to anyone who wants to peruse it upon request. All right, so without any further ado,
do me a favor. I know you'd made a comment about Thursday, and since we broadcast live on Thursday, and we're actually in per se week 1 right now, or if this were college week 0, we'd have to disqualify the Thursday game. So I say you're going to go. I assume you're going to go with 4 Sundays and the Monday night.
Yeah, the format should be 3 random Sunday morning, afternoon games, the Sunday night game, and the Monday night game.
Oh, okay, cool. I got you now.
So the 2 of them are pretty much going to be determined. Though we're picking those games, and then the other 3 are going to be left to the discretion of the previous week's winner.
Nice.
Okay.
All right. I love it when a plan comes together on the fly, live on the air. All right. So without any further ado, we are going to go ahead and start with Eddie Lane. He is going to get to make the first prediction. The first game is going to be Seattle at Atlanta.
My heart goes with the Falcons 7 days a week, but right now, screw it. I'm going with the Falcons.
All right, Eddie goes with the Falcons. Shane, who you got?
The Seattle Seahawks.
All right, and I'm gonna ride Shane's coattails there, and I'm gonna go with the Seahawks as well. Chat,
they're only giving away 1 in that one, so it's basically a pick 'em.
Let's see, we got 1 for the Seahawks out of my chat, and I'm waiting to see if anyone else jumps in. While I'm waiting to see if anyone else jumps in, I think this is probably the game that jumped out at me just because of the rivalry. It is a must-play game. It is going to be the Green Bay Packers taking on the Minnesota Vikings. Shane, let's go to you first.
I'm going to take the Vikings at home in this one.
All right. Eddie?
I'm going to take the Packers on the road.
All right. And we've got split in chat. Phoenix says Packers. Ryajan says Vikings. I'm going to go with the Pack with an upset. I believe that will be an upset. In Minnesota.
The Vikings are right now favored by current is 4.5. No, current's 2.5.
2.5. Yeah, it's going to be an upset. Game number 3, Miami at New England. I'm going to start this off with a shock. I'm going to say Miami wins. Phoenix says New England's. Eddie, who do you got?
I really want to play around with this game because I wish Cam all the best in the world, and I know that he and Stidham are going to make a great couple together. Just be careful when it comes to picking out the furniture. But right now, I'm taking the Dolphins in an upset on the road.
Yeah, this game is in Foxborough. A question was asked in chat. Home or away, the Dolphins always seem to find a way to make life tough for the Patriots. Case in point, was it 2 years ago when they had that miraculous game-winning pass? Yeah, crazy. I'm sorry, I missed your pick there, Eddie.
I got the Dolphins on the road.
Okay, and Shane.
Ted, you alluded to it 2 years ago, the Miami Miracle in December. Kenyon Drake making Gronk look like me and Eddie tried to tackle him. Then last year in the final game of the season in Foxborough in inclement weather, Patriots got to have it for a first-round bye. They don't do it. Brian Flores leads the Dolphins to a win. Now the Dolphins are stacked up. That was a little team that couldn't last year. New England has a ton of overturn. There's no inclement weather. I cannot believe this is still 6.5 points New England favored. I am taking the Dolphins to win the ball game straight up.
Wow. So all three of us agree. Everyone in my chat disagrees. Everyone is saying New England is going to win. So this is Beyond Ringside versus chat.
I will tell the chat this to remember. We may have the wrong game, but the three of us know. In week 1 in the National Football League, there is always that one result from a team who did not make the playoffs the previous season, who beat someone who did, and you go, wow, and I think we all picked this game accordingly.
I think so. It's the equivalent to the 5-12 matchup in March Madness.
Mm-hmm.
I'll get that one.
You always get that one. All right, Eddie, you get the next pick. Sunday night, the Dallas Cowboys, led by Dak Prescott, will go up and open up SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles, California, taking on the Los Angeles Rams.
I've got homecoming, home opener, and homer on that one, so give me the Rams.
All right, Shane.
I'm with you on that one. I'm going to take the Rams. I just think the absence of Todd Gurley, but I think Cam Akers from Florida State is going to do like Clyde Edwards-Helaire is doing right now with the Chiefs. Give me the Rams.
All right, chat's saying the Rams. I'm going to be the wet blanket on the party. I'm going to go with Dallas. Dallas is bad news. They ruin things. If you're the Dallas Cowboys, it's in your charter. We ruin things, and they're going to ruin that opener pretty bad. I think it's going to be a one-sided affair. I think Dallas blows out the Rams in that one.
Ooh.
Final game, Monday nights. The best of the options. Tennessee Titans at the Denver Broncos. Shane, who you got?
Since spreads were released 2 weeks ago, this is the one that has made me raise my eyebrows. The Tennessee Titans returned the full team just about intact. Now it's Clowney that went to the AFC title game. Denver has a second-year quarterback, Melvin Gordon, and the drafting of Jerry Jeudy. Vegas has not moved on this one. The Denver Broncos are favored, and that causes eyebrows to raise.
Yeah.
I'm not buying it. Von Miller's out for the season. Give me the Titans.
All right. Chat says Titans by 24. Eddie, who you got?
See, here's the thing. Week 1 spreads to me don't mean anything. It's kind of like preseason top 25 in college. You're going off of the data from A, the ending of last year, B, the draft, and C, free agency. Right. So you really don't have classic empirical data in which to base these spreads. Now, Shane, I'm sure you have it. One of y'all have it in front of you. What's the line on this game?
It began at 2.5 Denver. That has now come down to Denver favored a half point.
In other words, it's a pure pick'em in every sense of the word.
Pretty much. I think the only reason Vegas put a number on there is just to get some action.
Yeah, because anytime you put the word pick'em on a line, it's going to be basically, yeah, we're going to ignore that game. Unless you look at the money line, and the money line actually shows you something. For me personally, there is a stigma that a lot of, also the fact that it's Denver at home, at Mile High. So lo and behold, you've got a lot of people sitting back going, okay, Denver's really hard to beat at home. It's almost like trying to play the Saints in Mercedes-Benz. No, playing Mercedes-Benz is harder. Trust me. Sound reverberation. The air is thinner. So lo and behold, I'm going Titans. And yes, I expect when I'm listening to the radio broadcast, I will hear those dulcet tones at least 2 times. Touchdown, Titans!
Oh, I think it's going to be more than that. I mean, chat said by 24. I think that's being conservative. I could see a 31 to 34 point blowout. Look, Tennessee is coming into this game with a chip on its shoulder. They have a point to prove. They very well could have been in the Super Bowl last year.
Yeah,
and by a lot of accounts, they should have been in the Super Bowl last year. Going in, with, nobody expected them to even advance past the Texans. And once they beat the Texans, eyebrows raised, bandwagons got full, and this whole season it was about cleaning house, get rid of the bandwagon. If you want to be on the ride, get on the ride from the word go. Derrick Henry, Ryan Tannehill, and now Jadeveon Clowney on the defensive side. Just some of the highlights for the Tennessee Titans. Denver is flat. They're basically a team that is on the water without a sail or a rudder. I don't really know what they're doing. Judy was a great draft. Don't get me wrong, but he's a rookie, and he's the guy that everybody seems that they want to be hanging the Broncos' success or failure on this early on. Von Miller's gone, so Tennessee Titans by at least 30, easily.
Yeah, 21. But like I said, when I said I would hear those dulcet tones saying those two words, I did say at least 2 times.
Yes, you did.
So we do have to clarify those little things.
And just to throw this out, speaking of dulcet tones, it still bothers me to no end that Brent Musburger is the voice of the Raiders and not Greg Papa, because outside of Bill King, there has not been a more iconic Raiders call than Greg Papa. Touchdown, Raiders!
I still like Touchdown Titans, and I'm not going to scream it this time. Oh, speaking of, we talk about announcers, and I failed to mention this one last week during the show. I want to give a very special hats off, kudos, and all the love in the world to a longtime friend of the family, a longtime friend of Beyond Ringside Sports Radio. A lot of people know him in my home market of Birmingham as the radio voice for the Birmingham Barons. And last week, and I didn't get a chance to see television to see whether or not he's doing it this week, but he was doing the play-by-play for the UAB Blazers on television last week. And I'm referring to like I said, my brother, Kurt Bloom. Congratulations on the, hey, anytime your voice is on the mothership, even if it is ESPN3 or ESPNU or ESPN Snooze. I know it's ESPN News. I listen to Levitard way too much. Thank you, Poppy.
I'm not a fan of Levitard, man.
I like the unpredictability of the show.
He comes across as smarmy and sarcastic, and that's not what I want in a sports broadcaster.
Then you just figured out the show right there, because that's what he does, everything, even the comedy.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't work for me. Kenny Mayne, more my style, because I have a dry sense of humor anyways.
And, well, therein lies the fun part about Stagotz and Mike Ryan and the rest of the shipping container. Now, like I said, I for various reasons, I like the show. I was, when I first tuned in, it's kind of like, what the hell? And then I figured it out. It's like, okay. It's a radio show that's a parody it's a radio show that's a parody of a radio show on television.
Kind of like what I'm doing on Twitch with this. It's exactly what this is.
I'll drink to that. And trust me, when I get to the other house, I will. Well, tell you what, for those listening live, we are going to head for the top of the hour week at this point. And I know, did you say that you're good for one more round, Zudras?
Nah, I got some family stuff that popped up here in the last couple of minutes I better go take care of.
Then go ahead and throw out shameless plugs, and I know that you've got a sponsor in play.
I did. I'm not necessarily sure if I'm going to affiliate with them anymore, so I'm going to kind of hold off on pronouncing them.
Okay.
But hey, I'm a published author, not once but twice. And if you look on the screen right over here, you can see the 2 books that I have available. The first one is called Fireminder. The second one is called Council of Kings. It is part 1 and 2 of the Fireminder trilogy. They are both available on Amazon Books right now for only $6. And if you look all the way over on the far end, you can see the cool Zerdrea's gaming hat that I'm wearing right now. $25 PayPal donation. I will ship one out to you. And also, I do have a merch store. So if you are looking for some cool Zerdrea's branded gaming stuff, I actually should have the coffee mug that I just got today ready for Saturday morning's coffee benediction. So that's kind of cool. It's a green screen mug with my logo on it. It's pretty badass. And you can get one of those on my merch store for $12. Go check it out. Support your favorite streamer. Buy some merch. Buy my books. Help me out. And as always, check me out right here on Beyond Ringside and the Beyond Ringside Radio Network every Thursday night for the Shooters Gallery with Eddie Lane and Shane Knowles.
Do me a favor before you run, Shane. Go ahead and throw out shameless plugs and social real quick as he wraps up his feed.
That's right.
That is Shane Knowles at gmail.com. Shane Knowles on Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, and on Twitter at TheReal Shane Knowles.
And is Pro South running tomorrow night, or are they taking the week off?
Pro South is back after a 1-week hiatus Friday, September 11th. Pro South getting ready for the annual Battle Rumble set to take place Friday, September 25th.
Real quick for the show itself, at Beyond Ringside on Twitter, Facebook.com/Beyond Ringside, Facebook.com/Beyond Ringside Live. ProWrestlingRadio.net is home, as well as BeyondRingside.com. For me personally, the home site is Fast Eddie Lane, LAYNE.com. For those listening live, Shane and I will be back in about 6 minutes. For those catching on replay, it's one click away. And for those catching us on Zerdreas channel, I said it right 7 times.
Yes, you did. Let me go ahead and handle the channel sign off, because I have a tradition that I do only on my channel. You guys get to hear it first. For Fast Eddie Lane, for Shane Knowles, I am Zerdreas Ted Guinness. If you woke up this morning and you didn't start a meth lab, you're probably doing something right. Stay tuned. I'm dumping the viewers over to another Twitch streamer. Eddie and Shane can be found for the rest of the show at BeyondRingside.com.